Hey everybody, back with another video. Got a couple things actually interesting to show, hopefully, in this video. We'll see. This board actually was dropped off by the arcade buffet, and it was kind of interesting because it has this little black box on it. And it's a Pac-Man board with some type of modification. And I actually already figured out that, or I believe this is like a speed up turbo button type of modification. It's called the little black box, and it's on Lawnmowers Man's website. I'll link to that, but it is not working. I already tried to boot it up. The one thing I've already seen is there is some damage. I don't know if it's on purpose or not. Right here by 7N, between this little trace here between 7N and 7M, but I don't think it actually goes there. And then there's this little jumper here on 7K, which I don't know what that does either, and I haven't seen that before. I might try to do some more research there, but that is actually jumping some wire to something, obviously. But the mod is basically just a turbo button, and this brown lead is supposed to be for the turbo. If you ground it, it's like a switch, and it'll go to speed up mode. So that's kind of interesting. I was going to troubleshoot that, but I also picked up a cool thing off of eBay called the Fluke 90 Microprocessor board tester. And this is for a Z80. This one's a Z80 microprocessor, and it's basically the same, similar to the Fluke 9010, except for it only runs certain tests. It only runs a bus test, a memory test, an IO test, and then you can like loop things and probe for stuff. I haven't read everything about it. I barely know it. I knew this existed, and I knew kind of the basic functionality was, bus test, memory test, IO test. And in memory test, you can actually, I think, test ROMs and stuff like that. And it's actually, I think, new old stock, or it might be never used before. I don't know. There is some dust, because a little bit of dirt has been sitting around probably. So the way it gets its power is actually through the connector itself, and it uses direct memory access, DMA, to control the buses and take control of the memory from the CPU and stuff. So maybe this is a great thing for arcade boards. I don't know. Maybe sometimes you might, for the DMA access, you might actually have to do some modifications. I don't know, but I figured we would try to use it on this board if I can get this board somewhat working. And that's what we're going to review. I'm going to open this up, read the manual a little bit, highlight some interesting things, and hopefully use this to fix this board, or just use it, period. Alright, that's what we're going to do. Alright, I put in a jumper here to fix that little broken trace. I just ran a jumper all the way from this hole up this way north of 7N all the way down to that little hole right by 7L, and that ties into a couple pins here. This might be a factory bodge, I don't know. Let's power it on. And now it is running, at least, which is good. Some character issues, something going on there, and I think I know what that might be as well. Character issue there. So one of the things is it has I know it's upside down, but it has Pac-Man ROMs in 5, and then it has Miss Pac-Man ROMs. Pac-Man ROMs in 6, in row 6, and then it has Miss Pac-Man ROMs in 5E and 5F. So that's kind of weird. That might be most likely my character issues there, but not positive. Let's coin up just real quick. Alright. Yeah, that's Pac-Man with some Miss Pac stuff going on. And then I think if I ground this, oh yeah, I'll put a switch on. Oh, actually, let me do it real quick. You can see how fast the ghosts are, so everything speeds up when I ground this jumper. So that's definitely a speed up. And it goes to whatever this is. I think this is 5S or something. It goes to pin, let's see, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's got to be 12. So I think it goes to pin 10 on here. And if you move it to pin 11, it might be even faster or something. It's changing the CPU cycles, I think. I'm not exactly sure how that speed up works, but let me put some Pac-Man ROMs in here and get this board working. I guess I'll have to use this maybe on something else. No, I'll still use it on this. All right, I burned a couple of Pac-Man ROMs there for 5E and 5F. Still don't know about that little jumper there at 7K. I don't know if that's a factory bodge job or if something else is going on there. So let's go ahead and turn it on. See what we get. Characters look good. I don't see anything wrong with the game. So that might be a factory bodge job at 7K, I would guess. Alright, and then if I'll just let the game run for a quick second. You see the speed that's running at? And now I'll just ground that brown wire, if I can, without shorting anything. And then now it's running super fast. Even the ghosts, everything's running fast. Just speeding up the game completely, which is kind of crazy. That was an easy repair. I just saw that I just inspected the board and I saw that there was, if you guys see that right there, it was a little bit more noticeable than that because there was actually like a piece of trace that was kind of like sticking up and stuff. I don't know if I showed it to you that way. So I knew something it jumped out at me right away. So just fixed that and got a working board with a turbo button and a non-turbo button, I guess. So let's hook this thing up. I'm going to have to take off, I think this is what that's the V address. Yeah, VRAM address. This is the sync thing. Z80 sync bus controller. I'm going to have to take that out and put something else in so I can get my connector onto the board. So let me do that. Alright, actually, I'm going to play a game with it really fast because it's actually kind of crazy here. Let me coin up. Listen to the tones. Everything's sped up. So... oh my god. I don't know how this is going to come out on the camera because I have the camera turned, so it might be the wrong way. Uh-oh. Oh my god. This is like ridiculous. Oh. What? But I guess it's supposed to be like not played that way the whole time. It's supposed to be only use the turbo button at a certain... I don't know. I figured I would at least show it so you guys could hear the sounds of it going so fast. That's just insane. Alright, now I'm going to hook up this Z80, yeah, the Fluke 90 series Z80 microprocessor board tester. That's what it's called. I'll be right back. Alright, so the only thing you really need to do is hook up the test lead up. It gets its power from the board, from the pins on the Z80 chip. And I believe I have it hooked up right. I hope so, otherwise this will be an expensive foobar here. But yeah, use hook it up to pin 1, align up pin 1 to pin 1. I did put in a J-Rock SBC sync bus controller there so that I can actually use it without the big sync bus controller. So I guess let's power it on and see what happens. I'm getting something. Z80 version 2. It goes through a self-test. I didn't actually see the self-test. Do I hit reset? Fluke self-test. Bam. Z80 version 2.2. Have to investigate to see what the heck that means. Game is running. See if we do a bus test. Test bus. I know it's kind of hard to see, guys, because it's, what is that? It's not. I guess that is an LCD, right? I guess. Enter. Test completed. So I assume the bus is good. Memory test. Okay, I gotta go look it up real quick. Interesting, I just reset the PCB by hitting reset. Very cool. You can adjust the how bright this thing is by adjusting this right here. Because it's not very bright by default. Alright, so let me do some reading and research so we can run some memory tests. Have it backed up, plugged in again. Hopefully you guys can see that. We are going to try, well, first let's do a bus test. Test bus. Well, if you press it multiple times, you'll go through the different tests. So there's a ramp test, which is very similar to like a no operation. It just, basically writes to every memory address. I'm not exactly sure what the shift test does, but we just want test bus to see if anything's tied to each other, and it's not. So it says test completed, and then it resets the game afterwards. Same thing with memory test. We hit test memory, checksum test, memory examine, memory verify, memory write. So you can read and write or verify what's in memory after you wrote to it. Memory soak, I believe, will see how long it stays in memory, whatever you wrote to it. But what we want to do is just test memory. And then we're going to test, let's see here, 400 to 43FF. Enter. Test failed. That's weird, huh? Isn't that the right memory? Video RAM. And I guess if 55 is what we wrote and we got 10 back, that's what I think is happening. So let's do loop. Interesting. That's what's going on the screen. Alright, I might have to figure this out a little bit. Let's hit clear, and that should stop it. And let's do a memory test. Let's do a checksum test to, let's go to from 000, enter, to 0FFF, and what do I have to hit enter again? Do I need to put in the checksum? Oh, okay. It did. It ran that test. It says 3182 is the checksum, and that's a CRC, not a checksum. So I would have to go see what the checksum is on that. Damn it. Let me go do that real quick. It's not a Fluke signature, so it's just a sum. So I have to actually probably look that up on ROM ident or something. Alright, so I've been messing with and experimenting with this Pac-Man board and the Z80 Fluke 90 series here. And basically I wasn't getting consistent results on that checksum ROM test, and I'm not exactly sure why, but I haven't been able to figure it out. So just to show you as an example, if I go memory test, checksum, and if I start at 000 and go to 0FFF, I'm supposed to get a checksum of F400 according to ROM ident. And let's see what we get. Then we get 3E0, and if I loop this, I'll get different results. I know it's a little painful to watch, but I'll get different results every time. And I think it has to do with there's something else on the data bus or something else on the address bus that's screwing this up somehow. It's not exactly getting the timing right for whatever reason. Because this is trying to do direct memory access, so trying to interrupt cycles, and there's probably other things on here interacting with the address bus. You just saw a different checksum there, or things interacting with the data bus. Now the ROMs, you shouldn't even have to have this SBC controller there, that custom chip. There you go. So I'm just going to hit clear and stop that test. But you shouldn't even have to have this in there to run that test. But if I remove it, I think that it starts resetting, and then I'm going to have to disable the reset or the watchdog, and who knows. I mean, actually I guess it could be resetting right now for all I know during that cycle. I should actually check that with my scope. But then I started wanting to test the RAM, and I wasn't able to do that either until I removed this video address. What is it called? Video address VRAM addresser. And that is because the video signal, or the video address bus, whatever you want to call it, is also addressing the shared RAM here, these 21 14s right here, at the same time. So sorry for the glare there. So we're going to do a memory test. Test memory. We're going to go 4000 to 43FF. And it tests fine. But if I try to go to some of the other RAM space, like the color RAM space, I have to look at the schematic to see what's interacting with that or preventing me from addressing that address space. But that would be, if I hit clear, can I just hit forward? No, I have to do memory test. Enter 400 to 47, and I get a fail right away. And every time I hit enter, it's going to just go to almost the next address line. I'm getting errors basically. So very similar to the Fluke behavior. I almost want to put my Fluke on here to see if I get similar results when testing to the RAM. But I was able to test RAM, obviously, but you just have to make sure that the CPU is the only thing that's addressing the RAM at the same time, because it's when other things are on the address bus or the data bus, they're not going to respond to the data bus interrupts, is my assumption, because it's just a clock signal, right? If you got your video address bus on there, so it's not responding to the Z80 bus interrupt and all that kind of crap. Let's see. I think that's... Oh, okay. One more thing I wanted to show was, let's do the ramp test real quick. Clear. Bus test. We're going to do ramp. And you can see it's making some noise. That's because I don't have the the video address thing log on there. But I'm gonna hook up my scope to just pin 1 of one of these 2716s. All right, what's going on here? Oh, if you run it once, basically it says ramp test completed. You need to hit loop so that it runs this ramp test over and over again. And then I'm going to pin 1 of this ROM, which I'm not sure what address line that is, but that's pin 1, and you can see it's basically 57 hertz is the frequency there. Obviously it changes because it's in a loop pattern, so it'll run the test, stop, and then run the test again. So we're at like 57 or 58 hertz. And then if I go to the next address line, we're at basically 115. So, which sounds about right, you know, 56 times 2, or whatever it was, 57 times 2, 115. And then if I go to the next one, I should be around 230, the frequency, and there you go. And so this is kind of similar to signature analysis. If I can actually touch this thing, let's see. And there's 430, 460. Yeah, 460. So it's kind of similar to signature analysis, where you could run this ramp test and kind of check all the address lines and the enable pins and make sure that they're actually getting enabled, the ROMs are getting enabled correctly. Like during this ramp test, every single chip enable should be getting enabled if the address decoders are working. So that's another like kind of, you know, useful test that you can run. Let me stop that, it's annoying. And but it seems like this is a little more difficult to use than the Fluke, but because you're going to have to understand the schematics and what potentially is, you know, driving the bus request lines or the bus acknowledgement lines of the Z80, and you know, there could be some more interdependencies, I guess, or something like that, to make sure that the tests are successful. But all right, let's see if I want to do anything else. I think this is going to be a quick test. Maybe I'll hook up my Fluke real quick and just run a similar test real fast. And if I figure out the ROM, how to read the ROM successfully, I'll let you know. I'll come back and show you. All right, I have my Fluke hooked up, and it's running unit under test fine with my cable there wrapped in copper foil. That helps a little bit for whatever reason. All right, so what we want to do is we want to do a RAM short 400 enter 43FF enter, running it. I got a lot of static for some reason. I got to be really careful, and I need to get myself a grounding strap. Alright, so that's good. Now let's do a RAM short 4400 enter 47FF enter. And it tests fine. So the fact that the Fluke 9010 really takes over being the Z80 CPU, and it's not using that DMA, the direct memory access method, seems like you're getting better results. Let's do what do I do here? ROM 000 enter 0FFF enter. Oh, my signature is supposed to be... Now, I wish it would... I guess I could just put anything in and then get the signature back. So, if I go like... It'll tell me what the signature was. But it should be 8B1A. ROM error, let's go more. Yeah, it was 8B1A, not 000. So And that's exactly what this is from arcaderestoration.com or something. You can just look at the memory map for different games. It pulls it from MAME. Just a nice, easy way to search. And it also, I've mentioned this before, but it also has the Fluke SIGs, which is nice. So that's 8B. So what's the short and dirty of it is, like, real quickly, it looks like, I mean, using the Fluke is obviously better or less complicated, I guess, but obviously more expensive than using that the Fluke 90 series. So, all right, not saying the Fluke 90 series isn't worthwhile. I'd like to do some other tests, and I do have the probe for it, and it's never even been opened, which is nice. And it also has this RS-32 connector, and there's software that you can download. It's DOS software where you can actually control this Fluke 90 over the RS-232 port over a DOS command, prompt, not DOS prompt, but basically a DOS program. And that I'll link to some resources on these things where you can get the manual and watch videos on how to use it and stuff like that. But I think I'm done kind of screwing with it for today, because I need to get back to working on my Defender as an example. So let's run unit under test. Where's my run unit under test? Enter. Alright, so Pac-Man with the speed up, or whatever you want to call it, turbo, or black box, the little black box mod, and a little bit of working on the Fluke series 90. So that's it, guys. Quick video. Hopefully I have no idea how long that actually took. So, but that's it. Cheers.